Hello, Okwaba. Um, in that day, you Ghana kakra na yako, one of our African countries, Kenya. A lot of things is happening in Kenya with regards to one governance and how the citizenry are perceiving the current government and the things they are doing in the country. Now, and when it comes to Africa, when it comes to governance, is an never-ending issue. They be an no, you can some I mean, the last time we saw some in Nigeria where NSAS ended in a very bad note, where people were killed and a whole lot of things happened when they tried to protest against something they don't like. But I think the bravery doesn't end there because people are becoming tired of how the governance is in Africa, and Kenya have taken their toll on these particular issues of protesting. And so this is the issue about what's really happening in Kenya now. Kenya is a country that's normally, I mean, people know Kenya. Kenya is very popular because of tourism and everything, but Kenya currently is owing a lot. Like Kenya did Ghpage in billions of dollars. Now the government was finding ways to actually means and ways to actually reduce their debts. Okay, now as usual, okay, you see this issue. I have to say it in a certain way because man can hear I will sound some way because in Ghana the same thing is happening here. So let me just try as much as possible to actually say it in a very neutral way. But the government or the country is owing a lot, and the government decided, okay, yen tax paying. I mean, yen fa economy bi yen chichengu yen nyama yetodo na so that we can at least get income coming from the tax sector, so that it would at least now this particular bill was supposed to be passed this 2024, and most of the citizens felt like won't far abandoning yadrin because already scanning the system no more. So if at the tax but one in water it means that Afina Hocher or Babamo. So they decided to speak against this. So initially started as a protest, a normal protest, but the government also against their decision to actually protest what they are deciding for them, because obviously it's a democratic country. So unfortunately, some of our brothers from Kenya are dead. Like a lot of people have been killed in the process of fighting for freedom, and it's a sad occurrence. And this issue, like I'm saying, you don't normally see it in the foreign countries. In other countries, only in Africa that sometimes we don't know how our governance is and how things are at the top. And I'm being very careful with how I'm going to speak about this because personally I don't feel it's right for me or anyone else to speak about a place that they've not been to. Okay, if I've been in governance and I know the dynamism or the mechanisms there and the reasons why they do the things they do, maybe I'll be in the best position to actually criticize them the best way I can. But as I'm sitting here, I'm yet to be a politician. I'm yet to be in their shoes. So honestly speaking, in as much as I'm seeing it the way I'm seeing it, I think in a certain perspective, it will be difficult for me to actually go in. But as a Ghanaian, when you are in this country, when you are in Africa, you know, there is a bit of a status quo where the politicians seems to be always enjoying the good life, and the people that they are supposed to be serving are the ones that are actually feeding from crumbs, you know. And it's an African story where you know, politics is like more like a place of generating wealth, a place of mining wealth, and the ordinary citizen has to pay for the things that some of these politicians would have to their expenses, like the the citizens have to pay for which is is unfair. I mean, so I think Kenya had enough, but Ghanaians, I feel we are more of people that are very peaceful. So I'm hoping that at least this thing will be more of a landmark or a sign for some of the African leaders, not only Ghana alone, to realize that it only takes one decision to actually annoy the citizenry to some level that sometimes they pass the breaking point. Because these people were virtually approaching soldiers with guns and police with guns, and they were willing to die. Like they've had enough. And some of them had placards at their back, which had things written like, "Mommy, if I don't come home today, know that I died. I died fighting for a better country." I mean, for somebody to go to that extent, you realize they've had enough. Like even Ekuwana, they don't see the need in actually staying alive when things are that difficult in a country. And apart Osora, right now, if you pick 10 Ghanaian youth, 6, 7 out of them, when they wake up, origin, Equanama father survive the week. Sometimes it's not even the week, the day. Just hand to mouth. The person is not like they are not working. But actually, income they are getting and the expenses that is made because of taxes and all, because Ejibana and Impano market, they be over corner ports or the account. So he's a businesswoman or man, or but not the become. Now our so our salary no but the thing the taxes are going like this. So how are you going to reach this level? So I want children day, Charlie. So it's not like we are condoning some of these things they are doing, but if you are an African and then you've been in a certain space where you've been with youth and they are addressing some of these issues, you can feel the pain and the bitterness, and it doesn't start small. So I feel like it's about time African leaders actually pay attention to some of the cries of the citizens. But then there's also, at the forefront, can introduce itself to this, because the moment the citizens will realize that, okay, if I use protest to actually get what I want, why that trouble fee? Now when we're there, okay, when I cry, my mommy will give me this. You might every day be just to get something that maybe it might not even be it might not benefit them, or it might end up harming them, because when they also so that is also the negative side of protest. That's something I feel we don't look at, because now if you are protesting and then whatever, because as I'm talking to you, the Kenyan president has actually given in, say, that particular financial bill on pass, because he feels like at least he's been reasonable, because on cherry, but when the rate at which people are dying, he has to step in. At least finance bill which we pass, so everybody should just calm their nerves. And my condolences to the family that have lost their beloved and everything.
On my own behalf, and on behalf of these members and many other Kenyans, I send my condolences to the families of those who lost their loved ones in this very unfortunate manner. Consequently, having reflected on the continuing conversation around the content of the Finance Bill 2024, and listening keenly to the people of Kenya, who have said loudly that they want nothing to do with this Finance Bill 2024, I concede, and therefore I will not sign the 2024 Finance Bill, and it shall subsequently be withdrawn, and I have agreed with these members that that becomes our collective position. Accordingly.
But it's the president, because now if the citizens feel like presidents in the past law and so on, they will use the same channel to actually address their dissatisfaction, which is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing. So I feel politicians shouldn't allow protest and some of these grievances to go to that extent that we have to pull guns and shoot people, because then eventually then it will be like a channel of communication, which is very bad. Because I don't see why when you are in a country somebody has to die before when there is a law being passed and they are not, and the large part of the population is not in agreement. Oh, Charlie. Sometimes it's difficult to actually sit down and talk about these issues because Onya Samfofer, it's an issue that Libya, every generation will speak about it, and it seems the ordinary African really thinks about Onun and the family and the well-being. Every other person, they don't care, and it's a mindset that it has become a cancer in our governance that Nimpano, as already, even if in the long run it will affect everybody and then preserve their family and their immediate circle, they don't care. They will rather do it and then forget about everybody. So I think this issue of having to use protest to actually address our grievances might not be the best. But if the government is giving us that is the only thing that these governments or this African politics and governance is giving my friend is saying the citizens, I feel is not the best example because Libya, people have to resort to that to actually address their grievances, which is very, very, very bad. Because it's actually bad because if you are watching some of the video, a policeman had to remove his uniform because they shot his brother. Okay, he was defending whoever the government, and then his brother was shot. He didn't even know that it was his brother. And so they be PS knows and Union and other from he couldn't hold his tears. He has to remove the uniform. So he can be your brother, he can be your sibling, but Charlie, nobody cares. So far as you are not my family member, whatever happens to anyone, I'm there. And I think it's about time we should learn how to care for ourselves as Africans. A bad thing. It's not in our DNA, but I mean, you can start from somewhere. I think the government can start thinking about what the citizens have to say about some of these things. With everyone that has lost their life in the Kenyan protest, condolences to your family and loved ones. And Charlie, please, we don't want this thing to happen in Ghana, honestly speaking, because you have only one Ghana, and some of you, your lives are very precious to your family and your friends. So I believe that as these things are happening, there are going to be some kind of, I don't know, maybe some of the African leaders will learn from it and change their ways on certain decisions they make that will not favor the citizens, but what could will pass along. So that's what is happening in Kenya basically. So if you've heard that Kenya is in the news, this is what is happening. A bill was passed, and now citizens also union join because they feel like Obama living standards are so that's the tax, and the government said no, you are not in charge, we are in charge, we are leading you, so whatever we say you must follow. And our citizens said no, Darby, the effects will be on us, so we have to rebel. So they rebelled, and some of them got killed, and finally the government or the president has come out to actually say, "Oh, bill no care about person, CC and waja tuma, why and I mean why cancel that particular financial bill." No, and see, that is what's happening in Kenya. I had to bring it to you real quick, and we will just end today's edition of Trends on KDM here. The name remains Donald, and definitely I will see you on the other side. Peace.